Hello, gentlemen. This is your commish chiming back in. Oh, wait, the happy ending stopped by again. He just wanted to say hello, per usual. Um, oh, look, we have a Super Bowl championship right behind me too. This is really a house full of champions, is what's happening here. I don't see a lot of champions out there. Um, Going back into the arguments that we've been having back and forth. I just wanted to, again, kind of chime in, give a little bit more of a voiced opinion on things. Slight response to what Eric said. I'm not going into great detail. I don't have the time to go ahead and probably write down his 14 counterpoints or whatever the heck it was in comparison to my correct points, per usual. And so, yeah, we're going to go from there. As you guys saw, we now have a draft date. I have already put it in. I have sent out the invites for everybody. I believe it is August 3rd. We'll plan on right around 5:30 or so. Because of the time period, it might be a good idea to do some pizza, do tacos, do something. So as we get closer to that, we'll get to that portion. I will also be putting in the vote to go ahead and either do the rookie draft that particular day, or if we're going to do the 12-day in advance rule. As I mentioned before, I didn't feel strongly either way. I get the reasonings both on both sides of things. It might make it more exciting for the 12 days before, as I mentioned. I think that creates possible trade opportunities, trade possibilities. Maybe some creativeness between everybody in the league. Again, that obviously doesn't mimic the NFL, but again, that's something that people are picking and choosing to do. So, your guys' life, no big deal. I'm just rolling the punches. I'm just the commish. I'm the people's commish, is what I am at this point. Oh, gee. What? Oh, yep. Yep, we're still champions. It doesn't really matter what you guys change the rules to. This thing's still coming back to me, no matter what. Think about it. Anyway, so I'll put it out there 12 days before. If we'll do it on the same day, same as before, I'll put in the two poll options. Everybody vote. Once we get the votes completed, I will make the formal announcement, per usual, and have this situation done. That was that point. I believe we already did the draft side of things. So the last real issue is still this LTFA formula that Eric came up with. So Eric's response was he named a player 5 years ago in the NFL that did this, and 3 years ago in the NFL who did this. Eric, as you know, you're a smart guy, you're a stats professor, you can actually probably give me the exact percentage of this. I'll say 97.5% then of players in the NFL do not do contract situations this way. It might be slightly less, but still, we're going a huge majority here. Did you pick out a few random people? Yes, you did. Two things I don't like about it. One, again, I'm going to go back to the age, the carries, the personality profiles, all these things. Yes, can you create a formula for that? Perhaps. Will it take forever? Yes. Will it take forever to input all of it? Yes. But that's the only true way that I believe you can firmly get the contract set up exactly like how they are in the NFL, because every player is different, every attitude is different, every position is different, every age is different even for each individual position. There's so many variables. And I know your goal is, I understand the goal between Derek and Berta and Eric and Roger. I think you three were the primary three that came up with this concept and idea. I get where you're coming from. You want to create it into a dynasty. You want to make it like the NFL. I just don't think this is the right way. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm looking at this formula, and I mean the formula makes sense. I mean I know Excel probably better than Eric does, but at the same point, I don't believe. I just don't believe that the salary is decreasing over X amount of years is the right way to go, because that really doesn't mimic anything besides what you guys created. Basically, you created something that doesn't exist in the NFL, even with the idea in your head, so you're trying to make it like the NFL. Let me see here. Yep, formulas make sense, blah, blah, blah. On top of that, Eric put in the 5% thing, which is what it is, I guess. But as you play, I'll throw this out there. As you play video games, it's usually at 10% of a front-ended or back-loaded contract, or something that's just even right on through. And also when you play video games, which is about as real life as we can get other than talking to the players, if you present to him a front-loaded contract instead of a back-loaded contract, his interest level will decrease in huge amounts unless you have the personality profile that makes it so the guy just wants to stay to win. He'll give up a little bit more. He'll sign that 1-year deal. These are just all arguments that just make too much sense to me as an avid GM, as somebody who had aspirations at a GM, who's somebody who does have a sports management degree that understands how a front office works, not a stats professor that came up with a formula that 5% decrease in salary that nobody in their right mind has ever done, really. So, again, just another argument against it, just more feelings against it. I'm not sold on it yet, to be honest with you. And yes, I am the commissioner of the league, so I will not put this up to a vote until I'm sold on it. Plain and simple. If I'm sold on it, or all the other 11 members of the league are sold on it, then let's have the discussion. Then I will probably change my mind. But it's not going to happen because it doesn't make sense. Again, I know Douglas, I know Derek, myself, Eric, if you think back to your video game days, if, all these people who play video games, look at exactly what I just said. When you pull up an NBA game or an NFL game or anything you want, 10% is the only option to begin with, 1. 2, if you front load the contracts, like what we would be doing here, for example, and then decrease back end, nobody is interested in it. So, arguments against it. Furthermore, what do we do with all these players that are already under contract for multiple years? I have some great contracts, and I'll tell you one thing. If we're going to put this into play, then why don't those guys go ahead and get some decreasing contracts over the next few years too, or does that just start right now? In which case, I kind of think it might be slightly unfair if we started now, and then don't go back and go over those contracts. For example, I have Le'Veon Bell for 4 years, so over that 4-year period, that means he should have a 5, 6, 7, 10% decrease in his salary throughout those time periods. It doesn't matter that he's young. Would he ever sign that contract? Nope. But according to what you guys are looking for, that's your possibility. Matt Ryan, I would love for him to have a decreasing contract over the next 3 years. Same with Monty Ball. Eric, you brought up the RFAs, the restricted free agencies. We put this 10% higher, if you remember, on purpose, because that's how restricted free agency works. It's something that jumps up higher. It isn't something that decreases. That is how the NFL works. That's how the NBA works. That's how general management works. So again, if we're going to try to mimic this thing, then why are we raising free agency but then lowering salary, or restricted free agency and then lowering salaries? It's just blah, 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 blah. What? Yes, it still doesn't really matter because this is still staying in my house. But love to hear kind of the feedback from those situations. As I said, I will go ahead and put in the information as far as the rookie draft. Again, not like the NFL, but I'm swayed, I guess, in some sort of way because whatever. So I'll put that up for the polls. Sorry for the longevity of this, the confusion in this perhaps, because I'm still not understanding the concept as a direct GM personality. Northside, go Cubbies, go Bears, go Forte or Dash. Peace.